Hello, welcome everybody to another video from 4P Consulting. For those of you that haven't had the opportunity to join us before, I just want to really quickly explain that the 4Ps are people. So the people, the associates, the individuals that we have that collectively make up our workforce or family or any group that we're a part of. And then processes, so the process or the system that we use and implement to attempt to achieve a repeatable result. Product, so obviously a product can be a tangible product that we create, or it can be a service that we offer, but it's what we offer as value to the world in hopes of earning a income in return. And then promotion. So we have the people that make the product, we have the product, we have the process that they use to actually create the product, and then we have the way that we promote the product, so marketing. However, we go about it in a much different way. We obviously don't subscribe to these massive, expensive marketing campaigns. We much prefer a local grassroots sort of guerrilla marketing tactic approach. And it's what we've shown through all of our experience and research and analysis that yield the best results over time. So I want to get into something real quick as we talk about this. There's a few things that we can explore in each one of those quadrants or each one of those categories that are the 80-20. And if those of you all that aren't familiar with the 80-20, 80-20 is basically saying that there's about 80% or more of your results come from about 20% of your actual activities that you do. Everything else is sort of just filler, or you're getting a diminished return on those other activities. So those 20% of the activities give you the most bang for your buck. What I really want to touch on is the fact that the be, do, have model that we subscribe to and pretty much live by, because all of these things are great, and we go into so many businesses and we teach them about people, about the processes, about the product, about promotion. But the biggest thing is that you have to begin first with, what do you want to have? Or do you want a big, huge business with all the headache that goes along with that? Do you want a small, self-employed type atmosphere where you make your schedule, you book appointments when you want to, you don't when you don't feel like it? What exactly is it that you want? Sometimes there's a big misconception. I want to be rich. I want to have this material possession. But the problem is they don't really understand the rest of that, the be, do, and have, to have those items, who you have to be, and what you have to do to actually get them. In my opinion, when we talk about things like manifestation, one of the most detrimental things that came about from that was that the thought or the belief that we could just think about something hard enough and lo and behold it would show up. That's a major fallacy in my opinion. So the first thing that we have to do is figure out what we want to have and work backwards. And so if you think about that, what would you need to then do? Obviously we can put that down into a pretty precise thing and say, well, this is what you need to do. If you want to be a doctor, you have to get a doctorate. You have to go to medical school. So those things, some of those things are very easy because there's certain things that are mandated. But even more in depth on that, we can say, well, we know we need to know if it's business. We need to know and understand at least a very elementary model of accounting. We have to do certain things that's going to give us that. So what do we need to do? If we want to have a great physique, we need to work out. We need to eat healthy. So once we kind of figure that out, then we can go back one more step in that equation to the B, or the being. And in my opinion, this is one of the most foundational things in all of life, is to question, who are you being? At every single moment, you have the ability to choose who you are being. In that moment, being is present tense. Who do you want to be? Every morning you wake up is a new time, a new opportunity to write your story. And the chapters, or the upcoming chapters in your book, are being written at this moment by every action and every choice and every decision that you make. So what we want to say is, if that's what we want to have, and these are the things we need to do to have that, who do we need to be that would cause us to do those things? And being is really a derivative of beliefs and values. And I say them in that order because our values are things like integrity, honesty, hard work. But what sets or dictates our values are our beliefs. And our beliefs are the higher level things. Like, for instance, I was raised in a Christian family. So I have the belief that there is a higher power that watches over us. And, so I pray to this higher power, but I have the belief that I need to live a certain life. That was a story that was given to me by my parents that was just, indoctrinated into me. And I still believe it to this day. So that belief really dictates the values that I live by. And it's those values that are so paramount to, whether we realize it or not, governing our daily feelings and emotions, thoughts. And so there's another acronym that I like to say is TFAR or TEAR, TEAR. So your thoughts, and those are obviously the things that we create our thoughts, whether we realize it or not. And thoughts create emotions or feelings. So if you think about, even if you're in a very sad and upset state, you can break that state pretty quickly. If somebody says something funny, or if you just remember something funny, you can go from crying to almost instantly laughing. So, and vice versa. You could flip that around and think of something very sad and quickly begin to conjure up those feelings or emotions. So we know that our thoughts create our feelings, and feelings create action. So typically, now we do make some rational thoughts and we'll use our cognitive abilities to say, well, rationalize something and act upon it. But at the core, to really propel us towards action or massive action, it really takes an emotional catalyst to start. So, if you get really upset about something, let's say one of my favorite examples is Michael Jordan when he lost to the Detroit Pistons. He got emotional. He said, never again will I lose because I allow them to batter me every time I drive to the lane. So he began to work out his body and build muscle and do the things that he had to do. He began to be and do the things that he needed to do to become that person that could, withstand that Detroit Piston defense. So you really have to begin to think of the right thoughts which come from once you've solidified what you want to have, what you need to do, and then who you need to be. And then once you get your values and beliefs solidified and in alignment, right? If you believe that money's bad, or that it's not worth sacrificing family time to have money, but at the same time you say you want to have a yacht and a mansion and all these things that it takes a lot of work and sacrifice to get, then your values and beliefs aren't in alignment. And it's very unlikely that your actions are going to be in alignment. So thoughts equal to feelings or emotions cause action. Once we get fed up or get excited enough, we begin to act, and actions create results. Now, you can manifest things by thinking about them, and if that conjures up enough emotion to spur you into action, then you will get results. So there is a little bit of a validation to the manifestation model. It's just that it's not by thought alone. It's not a magical thing. It's that thought needs to become so embedded and so emotionally attached to it that it causes you to act upon it and get the desired results. So I know kind of throwing a lot of things out there right now. So in the up and coming episodes, we're really going to explore this, because while each and every business that we go into, and we do specialize in hospitality, but they're all different. Businesses, corporations, LLCs, they're all basically separate entities that can transact and own property, and they have EINs, employer identification numbers, just like we have social security numbers. So they're literally a living organism or organization, and we have to treat them as such, but we're raising them. So the same way that like my example was, I was instilled with the Christian faith. When we're creating this organization, we have to be very careful and cognitive of how we're raising that organization. And now many of us, it grows very quickly, and now we're faced with having to change. So it's like a teenager where we have to sort of discipline or change the behavior. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Is we're going to start with the episodes broken down into the have, the doing, and the be. So the be, do, have. And we're really going to get in depth on exploring how to solicit or figure out beliefs. Because that is, if you think about the ceiling of a structure, the ceiling is your beliefs. The walls and the supporting structure that holds that up are your values. And then everything else is the foundational aspect, as far as what you're doing, who you're being, and things like that are sort of the different rooms within that structure. And you, once again, are the designer. So you're the architect of that. You are the architect of your structure. You need to begin to take full responsibility. And that you'll see as we begin to kind of conclude the whole series of the be, do, have. And then as we go, once we solidify that, we get into the 4 Ps, because you can't begin to address issues at the organizational level operationally until you've addressed it at the sort of governing or higher level issues that trickle down. So just to sum it up, our next episode will be on having, figuring out exactly what it is we want to have. The next episode will be on doing, figuring out what it is you need to do to have those items. And then we'll get into the be or being, who we need to be, and the beliefs and values that we need to adopt and instill. And once we really bring that home, we'll begin to look at the 4 Ps, the people, the process, the product, and the promotion, which we think are the basic 4 pillars of that structure, or that business structure. And we'll begin to look at each one of those with that same model. So how do we take our people, and what is our overall business's beliefs and values, or mission, vision, and values? Are they in full alignment? Are we as a owner creating a story? Are we telling a story that is exciting enough and elicits enough emotions to really drive our people into action? Is the story big enough for them and their story that they'd like for their life to sort of fit within that? If you think about any great movie or movie franchise or anything like that, the individual characters have their own life story that fits within that story. So we want to make sure that our story is big enough and grand enough to allow them to see achieving their story within ours. And we'll really approach it. Once you understand how to get your own beliefs and values and those things, then we can allow you to go in and begin working on your people. But until you get yours correct and the company's correct, it's futile to begin working at the individual level. And then with processes, once again, we'll jump in. That's sort of the doing in that whole model. So the people are the being, the processes are the doing, and we'll begin to say, okay, this is the path and the goal, the KPI, whatever, business acronyms we want to use of the company, and this is the doing that we need to achieve those. So we can go in and figure out, if we're having issues with production, whether it's overproduction, stockouts because we don't have our logistics figured out, whatever it may be, we begin to go in and just slice and dice and really get granular on the processes that yield the results. We see massive gains. We cut cost, and we usually are able to increase efficiency in everything at this level. So we really spend a lot of time on processes, but once you create and install a process, the same as, say, a checklist before a plane takes off, it's rock solid and it runs itself. And that's really what we're trying to create, is a process or a business model that runs itself, and the people work the process. So we have to get them excited and emotional enough to act on the doing, on the process, and hopefully the business will sort of create a life of its own, and we won't have to be there day in and day out, micromanaging everything. And so then as we go into the product, that's obviously an offset of the process, but we really start to look at the actual product. We once again look through this model of the world. So the be, do, have, who are our customers? What is it that they want to have? What is it that they're desiring out of getting our product? Is it improving their life in some way? Is it making their life more convenient? Are they purchasing it because they expect it to make them money? Whatever it may be. But once we begin to then understand the psychological level of, consumer behavior around our product, we can, continue to refine this model, and you'll find that this is a model. It's just a way of thinking. It's like when you get an MBA, it's not so much that you learn everything business-wise, which you sort of do, but it really teaches you a way of thinking, of looking at the world. So this will help us with our product of who it's for, who the customer is trying to be with it, what they're wanting to do with it, and essentially what they're wanting to have as a result of buying our product. And then once again, we look at it. What are the thoughts that our product conjures up? What are the thoughts that, promotion we'll talk about next? And how does that create an emotional attachment or an emotional need to spur action of purchasing, which results in a sale? So you'll see that once you get these foundational concepts and models of business and looking at the world of your business through a model that we preach, you'll begin to see that you can address every level and everything this way. And it actually goes and works with individual relationships as well. And so finally, promotion, which obviously is just a way of telling the world about yourself, about your product. We once again go into all this, and it's very emotional based. It's very storytelling based. It's using our language to, not in a manipulative way, but in a way that drives customers. And when you really believe in your value of your product or service, you don't feel like you're pushing or manipulating. You really feel like you're helping the customer achieve something. So that promotion is just a way for us to help the world or help our community, help people get the things that we really believe they need. And once again, we'll begin to look and see if there are some inner underlying beliefs around selling that we feel like is seedy or shady or underhanded or whatever it may be. And thought that, we just weren't the best fit for them. It's not always easy. That's a big fallacy as well, that a coach or someone is always going to get along with you. You don't hire a coach. You don't hire a personal trainer to come and tell you things that you want to hear and to blow smoke and to be a yes man or woman. You hire us to come in and create a plan of action and to more or less force you or hold you accountable. And that is the overall thing that we also teach, is that you are 100% accountable and responsible for your actions and your results. And once you realize that there's nobody coming to save you, that it's up to you to do this, it becomes pretty empowering, but it also becomes pretty motivating. So this has worked for lots of businesses and lots of individuals. In fact, as we've had success with companies, we get everybody from the C-suite to mid and entry-level executives. And I've even had a few entry-level management people approach us about working with us on individual levels, just individual success coaching, I guess you would call it, which we do. And I am probably my own worst enemy because I love and care for people so much. It's hard for me to turn people down, unless, of course, I feel that they're not fully committed. And I will stop you immediately because it's not worth wasting your time and it's not worth wasting my time. But as we continue to grow, there is only so much time. So I am trying to create a training booklet and model that we can disseminate out. We're going to do it as cheaply as possible, and we're going to keep that cost as low as possible for you. But it'll be something that you can purchase and pretty much go over. It'll be a book along with a workbook, and you can work on that at your own time and convenience within your business. But we are always available to come in and make quick, instantaneous change. And if you think about our cost versus a 10% reduction in your cost, 10-15% increase in revenue, just making the place a better culture, a better environment to work in, reducing turnover, all those things that would just make your life easier. And then the return that you would get as those things begin to compound over years, the investment for us is very minimal. In fact, I say investment because it's not a cost, it's an investment in your quality of life and in your return that you get from your company. So please, if you would like, reach out to us. It's for FORURP consulting2@gmail.com. We're on all the social media sites. Just look us up under that same 4P Consulting. I'll also try to put a link and contact information on our YouTube. So our goal is to help as many people as possible. We've got many more videos coming out that's to get in depth on this model, and we've got some printed material coming. So please, if you've enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, give us a chance to share with you. And I just appreciate so much for the time that you took today to be with us. And we hope that you go out and do all the things that you want to do and that you are able to have everything that you want to have. Thanks again. Bye. And that'll help for you to understand maybe why you sort of self-sabotage and don't follow through with some of that. And then we really get into how to set up and implement a grassroots promotional campaign, how to solicit individuals in your community, friends, family. We call guerrilla marketing. There's a great book out there with that title, so not trying to rip it off, but if you think about the guerrilla soldiers is more or less what it's referring to. They didn't have all the resources, so they had to be very resourceful and sort of come up with other ways. If you think about in those other countries how they would fight, very unorthodox. So really what we want to do is take advantage of our local area that we know better than anybody and begin to just saturate it with really low cost ways of doing business. And you'll be amazed once you become 100% committed to these models, just how little upfront investment you really need. It's actually easier than you think to create a very integrative and organic marketing campaign, especially in today's modern times with all of the stuff that we have pretty much for free, all the social media, access to computers that we can print things that, were really only accessible to major businesses, large businesses in the past. So we really take advantage of that. And once again, if you can tell a story that is captivating enough and emotionally charging enough to get your local, schools, churches, sports organizations, just things like that on your side. And even more importantly, if you can figure out what drives them, if their beliefs, their values, their emotions, if you can get them a way to prosper or feel like they're either helping you, helping someone else, or if you can figure out a model that allows them to be monetarily incentivized. So is there a way for them to earn some income from helping you? So wrapping it up, that's what we're going to be focusing on. The Be, Do, Have, the TEAR, and the 4 Ps process that we use that basically goes into every business and helps us turn it around. We've had phenomenal success. There have been people that we've worked with that we've had to make a mutual decision to part ways, but overall it's been extremely rewarding, and we feel that we've helped a lot of people. So if you feel like this is something that you could benefit from, head on over, check us out. We're on all the social media sites. Look forward to hearing from you, and please like and subscribe. See you on the next video.